Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, your literary ambassador. And today, Book Talks, we have Ellen Ann Smith Suddreth from ESP Presents, and we have John V. Clement from J Sharp Studios. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Things like squirrels, nice juicy rabbit would be delicious.
Somebody need to turn they
Sorry.
Hi.
And today we are talking about a poem by Joshua Bennett called Balaenoptera. And it is a slam poetry, and we all have read it and watched the video of it. So we're going to start with Ellen.
All right. How you guys doing? Good to see you all. And thank you, Queenie, for being here. And hello, John. I love talking with you, at least listening to you talk. But I see in this poem right off the gate, it's a young man and a seasoned woman relationship. I don't know if you guys caught that, because he kept trying to let her know that even in her graceful aging or seasoning, that she's still beautiful to him. So what do you get out of that?
I mean, for me, it was a little bit of both, because at the first thing he said was when we are old. So it made it seem like he was kind of going through, they were both, young right now, but he was seeing it from the eyes of, once they were older, how she looked to him, as opposed to him being younger and she being an older woman.
Mm.
Oh, so that's what you took from the first three lines. Old tombstones, bones. In the first three lines, it had the words old, tombstone, and bones.
Right.
I think it was later on in their lives.
Right. When he said, when we're old, because he talked about, I think he said something about like when you sat in your dorm, and I guess that kind of brings in, maybe she is older, because he's saying when you sat in your dorm room, did you think about, your soulmate? So that may make it seem like it's you kind of twist it, because it's like, is he talking about them being young now and then talking about being old, or is he old now talking about them being young?
Mm-hmm. But I also seen it was more reflective on the woman being seasoned than him, because he kept telling her about her beauty, about her wrinkles, and that it was, pretty much, in my words, it was okay to grow old.
Yeah, he was I liked how descriptive he was. Talking about her eyes and the wrinkles in her eyes, and the glasses that she wore and things like that. I liked how descriptive he was with it.
Okay. Okay, about the part where it seemed like he was confessing his love for her. Because he says, got all these men knocking your door down, and I'm just trying to confess my love to you. Can't you see that I love you?
Mm-hmm.
And then I seen somewhere in there it says, deadbolt on your ribs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that understanding. Do y'all think y'all know what that means?
So that was kind of a biblical reference.
Okay.
where it talks about basically going back to Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
How
Right. That's what I was
God
thinking.
made, Eve. She was the rib. So he was saying, did you put a deadbolt on your ribs, meaning that you were only my rib, as opposed to anybody else's, all the jackals that he talked about that came to
Mm-hmm.
your door.
And then I took from that also, she's saving herself for her husband,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the deadbolt on your ribs. Ribs was, like you say, man, woman. She's saving herself for her husband.
Mhm.
I took that from it also. Now I had a part about he was an ocean away from his family. So what did y'all take from that? Like he was in the service? Was they in another country? Y'all remember reading that? He said he was an ocean away from his family.
Okay, yeah, he said he was 22 years old, beard freshly grown, an ocean away from my family, with the kind of pain that drives men to do selfish, barely forgivable things.
See,
Yeah.
like he was away in the service, or
Mm-hmm.
was he in another country serving it, or was he over here? That's where he lived. He didn't live in the United States. That was kind of iffy. I didn't understand that part. But
Yeah, either, like you said, either he was, in some type of military service, he was, stationed somewhere else, or either it was a long distance relationship.
That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
Definitely a long distance relationship, I was thinking. And I also, while we were talking about it, I was thinking maybe with her saying for her husband that she wanted him to get, or he was saying that he was going to get it. It was like they were dating, and she wanted to, everything you said is reflective. But this is what I'm saving for my, push it alone if you're going to be my man, because this is, husband stuff. You pouring all this stuff into my ears. This is something that I'm saving for my man. Maybe he had to, wait. I mean, just for some reason. And I know y'all men are different from us. We're like, okay, let's get married, do this. And y'all think more of, I need to be established, which is the right thing to do.
Right.
But maybe he wanted to establish himself and do all these things, ocean away and let me establish myself and all this stuff, And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love this piece. This is a good piece.
It really is. And I think you're right when you said the whole, he went away, get himself established. He was young. Maybe, there was a point of him saying he was 22 years old. Maybe he was fresh out of college or going into college, but he decided to do military thing and, like you said, establish himself. And then the whole line where he says, download it into my retinas and replay the moments our eyes first played freeze tag.
mm-hmm.
Was that a FaceTime thing? Was it something that they were, neither one of us wanted to stop being it. So it's like, I'm wondering, was that a part of the whole long distance relationship thing? Or was it something they, when they first met?
That's what I was thinking. First love, first time they met. Falling in love for the first time. What you call that? Love at first sight.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it seemed like, because how love is nowadays, people say, I love you. But it seemed like they had, I don't know their upbringing on both sides, but they had a good anchor on what love should look like.
Hmm.
Because she don't want to just, or they don't want to just be dating.
Right.
They got some future things that they're talking about. And I like when he said, wind humming a somber hum beneath its breath. And that was right above when he said, I'll probably just laugh, rejoicing over the fact that every time you smile, it makes the wrinkles at the corner of your eyes look like 6 willow branches, all lifting their heads from prayer in unison. And then that's the part that I was saying that she was you know, an older woman. I don't know if he's futuristically seeing that, letting her know that these wrinkles or these laugh smiles or these, you know, is, you know, I want you to see that beauty. He's talking about longevity when he say that, but I don't know how she embraced the fact of saying, you know, your wrinkles, you know, nowadays they don't want us, they don't look at older women like that. We used to let the older women, we looked at them, their smile, their life in the eyes. Now it's like you're old and dispensable, you know. But we don't want to do that. This right here, he appreciate her wrinkles, her now, her future. So that's what I saw, all of that in there.
Yeah, I agree. There was something else that I read about, let's see.
Can we read the poem, like the first half of it, so we can really pull out the beginning? Is that okay?
Sounds good to me.
John, you want to read it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, please let John. I love John's voice.
All right, I'll okay, I guess I'll read down to, okay, I know where I'll stop. All right. When we are old, hair the color of tombstones, bones that sound like wet windshield wipers whenever we slow dance through the living room, I imagine that I will look into the eye as if there's something small and precious imprisoned there, and say to you, darling, did you know that a blue whale has the heart the size of a car? And when you reply correctly, as you always seem to do when I ask you difficult questions about oceanography, I'll probably just laugh, rejoicing over the fact that every time you smile, it makes the wrinkles at the corner of your eyes look like 6 willow branches, all lifting their heads from prayer in unison. Wind, humming a somber hymn beneath its breath. Just as our anthem jogs to a close, and I whisper in your ear, how did you know that I was the one?
Snap, snap.
So, did is she off in school studying oceanography?
Yeah, I mean,
Because the title of the poem, if I'm not mistaken, is actually means whale.
whale, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. Like, was she, you know, because you mentioned her being in a dorm, was she in school for that? Or did she study that?
Mm-hmm.
It also sounds like, you know, from reading this, I can't gather or put it on there. Y'all see that. But it also sounds like, if that be possible, that they are both doing their career thing and not stopping one another. And they continue on in life. Because, you know, some people stop folks for something, for love. They'll, you know, had a college degree, some kind of scholarship, but doesn't seem like they're trying to stop each other from their main goal, whatever they're doing. And I like when you mentioned the eyes and look in the eyes. They're not talking about just lust.
Right.
They're talking about love.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't mention her age, but it does talks about her being older. But they got him as a young man. That's why I kind of pulled out that the relationship, she could be an older woman, or he's not afraid of her growing gracefully and letting her know that we can still be together, you know, although you're getting older. This is just so many bones to pick from this.
So what do you think when he says, when I look into your eye, there's something small and precious imprisoned there? What is that small and precious thing?
To me, that's like her innocence, you know, in her eyes. Her innocence, you know, that they're probably tender. That brings me to think of that. And that's what I thought about.
Yeah.
He probably thought of innocence, or if it's not, I mean, if they're older, we know his age, but just you can almost go biblical with that. And when a woman keeps the man's supposed to cover her and bring her purity, you know, or maybe I'm not going to mess with you in that way, or maybe I'm just going to keep you pure, you know. I don't know. I'm just digging.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say that I read the poem before I watched the video. And in reading the poem, it threw me because I'm used to poems kind of flowing. And this one kind of like stopped me. Like I was reading through, and then when I got to the part that said, like, did you know that a blue whale's heart was a size? And I'm like, what does that have to do with the poem? Like, it just threw me off. And it was like, okay, I'd read some, and then I stopped. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And then it go back to the you know, the metaphors and the comparisons, and then it would stop again. And I'm like
You know, it made sense to me in
okay.
the sense, as y'all were talking and I was writing notes, it made me think about how getting older, you forget what you said. And it doesn't matter that you forgot as long as we're together. And he kind of put that together, you know.
Okay.
And that's what it made me think about. When you grow old, you're together and you're like, what were we talking about? And, you know, and maybe he brought the subject back on the blue whale and this and stuff like that. So just kind of keep her memory on course. That's what I thought about.
Okay. That's a good point. But he was like I said, I go back to he was very descriptive, like talking about laugh and how, you know, the mix of Jimi Hendrix and rainstorms and even to like her shoes, like that showed you the age that she was. She had to wear orthopedic shoes and how her shoes matched. You know, you typically, you know, when you're talking about somebody that's much older to where they have to wear orthopedic shoes.
Yeah.
Wearing cardigan sweaters, like
I thought about that.
glasses, you know. So he's going very much forward in time, you know, describing her.
I still think that it's an older woman.
But I don't remember them ever showing her in the video either.
Right.
Do you think the video matches the poem?
I think the video enhances the poem. Like hearing him flow with it, it makes more sense.
It made me think of in the video. It made me think of it could be his mom versus being in a relationship with a you know, dating or something. So that's what I thought about. He could have been talking about his mom and how he loves her and how she supported him. But then when I read the poem, it made me think of that he was in dating. That this is a relationship.
I think this was like a history, the full history of his relationship, from meeting her to the hope of a future with her.
I just love the whole piece.
Like, she is the image of a perfect woman who pushes him to do great things in life.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it overall as a piece. That's what I took from it.
That's good.
One thing I did notice, and it may not mean anything, but I always feel like everything means something. But it's interesting at the beginning of the poem where he talks about, did she know the size of a whale's heart was the size of a car? And then at the end, he talks about how her heart is the size of a car. Like at the very end, he says, I would crawl through the veins of a blue whale on my hands and knees, photograph that Volkswagen-sized heart of hers, and place the picture on her. And I'm like, why would he compare, like, why would he say, okay, at the beginning, you know, did you know that a whale's heart was the size of a car, and then compare her heart to, you know, a car? I mean, I guess her heart is, I don't know, it's like, as big as a whale is, their heart is so small, and as maybe as small as she is, her heart is so big. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, don't he say something about the biggest heartbeat God ever made?
Yeah, the last sign, the biggest
Yeah.
heartbeat God ever made.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
It's all yours. But
Excuse me.
was he talking about his heart? His heartbeat?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not all yours.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it again because I'm gonna read it. That what you just talked about, the blue whale. He said, and maybe if you asked me to, I would crawl through the veins of a blue whale on my hands and knees, photograph that Volkswagen-sized heart of hers, and place the picture on your pillow before you went to sleep. That gets thick right there.
Yeah.
Really, really thick. And so, okay. Do we know that that's him speaking or her speaking?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
What do you think?
Well, one point I definitely want to bring out in that is that he will go to the ends of the earth for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she, like he said, if you asked me to,
Mm-hmm.
I would crawl. I mean, could you imagine crawling through the veins
I know.
of on hands and knees, like military style, like whatever, like that position is a position of struggle. It's a position of determination. Like when you think about dudes in the military or people in the military and they're crawling under the wires, you know, they're crawling trying to get to the end. And it's like, whatever I got to do to get to the end of this, that's what I'm willing to do for you if you ask me. Like you said, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, I thought about something too when you were saying that, is that to me this is very descriptive of oneness. Because to go inside her vein, he could feel every avenue, the blood flowing. And I think he wanted this to describe that oneness. So obviously he knows what he has. But I'm thinking maybe she had a bad relationship and she's not trusting. And that's what happened when the rebound man comes. He's a really good man, but he's tested.
Right.
And it does say up in there a little bit ahead where she said there could have been many men, or if he's saying, I'm trying to find it. Do you guys remember that part?
Yeah. When all those well-dressed jackals came galloping to the door. Yeah. Begging for the rights to your ring finger. What made you lock the deadbolt on your ring? So
yeah, when those well-dressed jackals came galloping to your door, begging for the rights to your ring finger. So he obviously been watching her for some time and standing back, not trying to be going forward. He's just kind of standing back.
Right.
And maybe you know how you have those, somebody likes you more than you like them.
Right.
So I gather that he just waited, and he called them jackals.
Because that's what he said, waiting for a man I've never met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he is pouring it on her.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely a poet.
So why do you think he said to place a basically take a photograph of her heart and place that picture on her pillow before she went to sleep? What was the significance?
I think he wanted to remind her of her worth.
Wow. Yeah. That's good.
And not to just throw her heart at free will vicariously to anyone. And so this is a reminder. Here's your heart here. Take a picture of it and to remind her of that.
Yeah.
He definitely knew her worth. He watched her and he wanted to know everything about her. You know, like again, sometimes these relationships, they're not trying to know you. You know what I'm saying? They don't spend no time knowing that person. Favorite color, where she go, what she like, you know.
Right.
Or if she goes out to the and you order her food for her, would you buy something that she's allergic to? Have you heard her allergies or anything like that? He's willing to know everything about her and plus tell her her worth. That's what I got out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any last minute words you would like to say about the poem? Either one of y'all.
I mean, it's just the words of a man who is so deeply into this woman and loves this woman.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, he's like, you know, I'm hoping that Father Time will give us a hall pass, allow us to orbit one another forever. He wants to be with this woman forever.
Mm-hmm. And my thing about this poem, I think it's just basically he wants her to allow him to love her.
Mm.
But he doesn't want to push himself on her. Right. He wants her to be willingly and to allow him to love her.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, he did say right here, I'm looking, the first time I saw your face, I thought, wow. John, you got any last minute or anything to add to it before we end the book talks?
I mean, it reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Music Soul Child's video of, he's basically the whole story of the song is, you know, I love you when your hair turns gray. I love you when you gain a little weight. And he's like looking into the future in this video. He's looking into the future of his wife and basically saying, it doesn't matter if you got on orthopedic shoes. It doesn't matter if you have, you know, crow's feet. It doesn't matter if you, you know, have a cane or whatever. I'm going to love you.
Yeah.
In the time, like no matter what. And that's a serious love.
That is.
That is a serious love. So yeah, that's kind of what I get from it. You know, that he's.
I got another thing as you were reading and stuff like that about her. I think that what she went through in life kind of aged her out, not necessarily that she's old. Mm-hmm. And I kind of gathered that as you were talking. And so it did talk about being in college and stuff like that. But I think, you know how you just kind of be tired of love? I think he's kind of rekindled those things. So that's what I saw too. Not necessarily that she's old, but that he's just, like I said, he's thinking of futurely of this relationship and what could the possibilities that she might think in her mind, or I might be too old and this might be too that. So I think that she may have been worn out or fed up of love, and he's pouring these things on her to rekindle love without touching her, just all mental,
right.
You know.
That's a good point. Yeah, this is a really good point. I really enjoyed it.
Again, thank you, Ellen and John, for helping me with book talks. And the name of this poem again is Balaenoptera by Joshua Bennett. Joshua Bennett. I'm sitting here looking at it. Joshua Bennett. And John, before we wrap up, would you like to say where they can find you as far as J Sharp Enterprises?
Yeah, you can find J Sharp Studios on Facebook, on Instagram, my YouTube channel, pretty much anywhere social media is J Sharp Studios. Like I said, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You know, check out my work, check out my videos, graphic design, marketing, small business marketing, social media marketing. So, yeah.
And Ellen, ESP Presents.
You can find me on Facebook at Miss Suds, on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. And also, if you looking to do a book review, you want somebody to give you an honest book review, we do book reviews as well as interviews with authors on Facebook Live and Zoom. So MissSuds@yahoo.com, and then I'm mostly on Facebook. That's where I hang out at.
All right, and our next
Yes.
poem is by Javon Johnson, cause he's black.
Woo! Can't wait.
Javon Johnson, cause he's black. And again, I would like to thank Ellen Ann Suddreth and John V. Clement for joining Book Talks. This is Queenie, your literary ambassador. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, and thanks for having us.